living your highest self, honestly, living to the next highest self, because I feel like there's so many levels in ourselves that we can't even comprehend. But to level up, this book here. Welcome back to Simply Shanika. I'm Shanika, your host. If you're new here, thank you so much for stopping in. Like, I get so excited when I see new people stepping into my show or my channel. Um, and hopefully today you see something that you like and you come back and you stay and you come back again and we become friends. Today we are diving in one of my favorites, one of the most classic books, I feel as though, especially if we're trying to talk about leveling up, manifesting, living your highest self, honestly, living to the next highest self, because I feel like there's so many levels in ourselves that we can't even comprehend. But to level up, this book here, very good. A classic. If you've been looking for something to help you start that manifestation, a blueprint, this is a good book to start with. The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn. Yeah, let's just get into it. Okay, so Florence Scovel Shinn wrote this book back in 1925. And the crazy thing about it is that a lot of the information in the book is still mind-blowing today. And when you really get into it and read it, I don't know if I want to do any like actual like read along type of books. I feel like you can find this as an audiobook. This is just going to be to kind of give some main key points that you can just take away from the book if you don't want to read it. But the information is still mind-blowing. They from 1925. So the basis of the book is pretty much life is a game, and if you know the rules, you'll win. And the rules are just that your words, your thoughts, and your faith creates your reality. Now, in simpler terms, what you believe, what you think, and the things that you say is pretty much what's creating your reality, which is similar to the law of attraction, right? I'm pretty sure most of everybody have heard of the law of attraction. But it pretty much just kind of gives the law of attraction in a just an old school type wisdom, no nonsense way, for lack of a better words. There are a lot of different stories in here, and I'm gonna go over some of them. I have a couple written down that I really, really like, and I wanted to share. That are just when you listen to them and hear her words, and it's crazy because it sounds as though like she was doing how people do like what do they call them, like the personal life coaches. Like that's what she was doing back then. So she told these stories about people that would come to her and that would be just like super burdened down with different things, and she would just help them through these things, right? So one of the stories that was in the book was about this lady that she was in a lot of debt, and she needed to get the money by, it was like the weekend, she needed to get the money by Monday. No, it was actually Sunday. I think it was on a weekend. And she was like, I don't know how I'm going to get the money, blah, blah. And she was like, she told her to say, I cast this burden on the Christ within, and I'll go or walk away freely, right? So she kept saying this. And then Florence gives just an insert with her talking back and forth with her. And she was saying how she just was still being worried. She was like, what you need to do is go out and spend freely. Spend as though you already had the money to pay the debt, right? That's faith. That's speaking it. And then the faith part is acting as if it's already worked out. So I think the next day, a cousin came to visit her out of nowhere. Come to find out, her cousin was like, hey, how are you doing? Blah, blah. And I don't think she wanted to tell him that she needed money. And he ended up just giving her money. But the crazy thing about it was, he was like, oh, I'll give you. Oh, I think she ended up telling him, hey, I owe someone. I have a debt I need to pay. Blah, blah, blah. Yes, as she was doing. And she was like, I need to have this paid or whatever. He was like, oh, I'll give you the money the first of the month. But she needed the money, like, I think the next day or two. So she was like, okay. So he left, and he called her back like the next day and was like, hey, I'll have the money to you by tomorrow, which was when she needed it. So I just thought it was so, like, some of these things are just so crazy. And I don't know about you. I've had multiple different things happen like that in my life too, with things that I wanted. And when you have this unbelievable faith, this unshakable faith, and don't really believe and don't speak on it, like, crazy things start to happen. Well, it seems crazy because I think we're just so trained to not really tap into these things when it's available to everybody. And Florence just really breaks it down into simpler terms. So that was one situation. Another one was this lady wanted this pair of curtains. Now, remind you, it is like in the 1920s. This lady wanted this set of curtains, and she decided to just go and act as if she had them instead of worrying about it. I think she started like to do different things and just to feel as though she had the curtains. And a couple weeks later, her friend gave them to him, like the exact ones that she wanted. So if you can't see yourself winning, then it won't be delivered, right? So there's a few things that I have listed that I know I want to bring into my life. And I try to do things as though, like, I want it to move, right? So I started to figure out, what can I buy so that I can put myself already in that, oh, I know I'm going to have this particular place. Okay, I know this place that I wanted has these curtains and this. So I started to put myself into the atmosphere and not just see myself there, but to insert myself there as I already have it. Because you wouldn't be buying a new bed or new curtains or different things if you wasn't going to get XYZ. So whatever that is, figure out whatever that is and figure out what's something that you would do if you already had what you wanted. So I know it was this like story back a while ago, and I never understood it until I really started to read Florence's book. They used to talk about if you want to get married, you want to bring like a good person in your life, clear out part of your closet, or do certain things that you would do if you had met the person of your dreams, right? So that's just a simple thing. Once you work out what you want, and a lot of times I think that is the biggest problem, figuring out and deciding what we want, and then act as if we have it, which is the definition of faith, like the Bible says. I I don't know why I understand the concept, but it's me that be messing up the. So it's like the absence of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen. I think I got it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's pretty much saying you have to act as if you have it, even though you can't see it in your 3D reality. Another thing that she talks about in the book as well, which this one was the one that really, really like blew me. She says, if it's easy to get caught up in what people do to us, right? So if someone does something to us, you get all wrapped up in it and we take it personal. But the book specifically, she flips it. She says, if someone comes in your path, they're teaching you something, whether it's patience, boundaries, self-worth, it's a lesson. So, and the quicker you learn it, the faster you're able to move on. So I know for me, self-worth and self-love was a really big thing I had to learn when I was younger. And I think everybody has a different thing that they have to learn in their own journey or whatever. But I realized that further down the line that self-worth, self-love was like one of my first bases. And maybe because I'm such a lovable person. Like I love love. Like I love my family. And I've always like one of those people that was like, believe in love. And it's funny because like a lot of my friends used to always say like, you really do believe in love. And I do. Like I do believe it's real. So that was one of the things I had to go through. Self-worth, self-love. And another thing that I realize is that a lot of times when you ask for things, you won't get exactly what you, okay, correction. You'll get what you ask for, but.
Let me ask you something. If someone prays for patience, you think God gives them patience? Or does he give them the opportunity to be patient? If they prayed for courage, does God give them courage, or does he give them opportunities to be courageous? If someone prayed for the family to be closer, do you think God zaps them with warm, fuzzy feelings? Or does he give them opportunities to love each other? Well, I got it right.
If you ask God for wealth and for money, he'll give you ways to use your money, give you ways to adjust your wealth, give you ways to opportunities to make money. So he won't magically just just put $1 million in your bank account, but he might give you $1 million idea. Or if you ask for love and you want to get married and have kids or whatever that may be, he will give you opportunities and broken people and people around you to love so that you can experience it. I'm not saying that you won't get the love either, but you get what I'm saying. He gives you the tests and trials to go through to actually get to what you want, not just give it to you. So another way of explaining this, and which I just heard this today, such a great example, is actually from another YouTube video. And the lady said that, if you have a baby and the baby has these fake keys, right? They want to drive the car. You know, as the parent, that the baby is not ready to drive the car. The baby can't drive the car no matter what the baby wants to do with the car, no matter what good intentions that the baby may have. The baby can't drive, okay? Because if you allow the baby to drive, because it's just what they wanted, they will kill themselves and other people in the process, right? So you prep the baby. You make sure the baby knows that, hey, you have to do these things to be safe, and then you talk to them, and then you grow, and then you teach them to be older. And even when they get to the age where they can drive the car, you take them and teach them driving lessons. You let them drive the car short ways. You help them understand that it's a vehicle and it's dangerous, and you have to learn the rules of the road and all these other type of things. So it's pretty much the same thing with God. God is going to prep us to get to where we want to be, but we have to do our part too. Okay, so more specifically with this book, it's not necessarily about manifesting money or your dream job or your dream lover. It's more so about the energy and feeling what you already want. And if you're walking around, if you have this energy of loveless or doubt or loss or struggle, that's what you'll see more of. So make sure that you're clear on what you want, you speak it, you think it, and you feel it. That gets you into the energy. I don't know if you've ever really tapped in to different energies, and a lot of times I think we don't realize when we make those jumps into a different energy and a different person that we are until we get there. But if you want things to come to you faster, you have to put yourself in energy. So put yourself into whatever you need to do, research, read, study, go into those types of places. If you know that you want to be a millionaire, take your car, drive it into wealthy neighborhoods. Go and shop where millionaires shop. Now, you know what I mean. Go to some of the high-end stores. Go places where you feel like it's out of reach because you need to feel uncomfortable, which is elevating you to be more comfortable in those places. I know it can be done. I know you can do it. And with the help of Florence, I think you got it. One of the biggest rules of the book is that your words create your reality. She gives a lot of different points about speaking things into existence and speaking and thinking things. That is what creates your reality. Like the story I told you about about the lady saying casting the burdens. Like, she gives you a lot of those very good tidbit things that really helps you to really get to a better place. So the things that you say, and I feel as though once you really get this concept down, it's funny because she has this saying that she was like, one of her friends was like, "Hey, come over so we have a good old talk, good old fashioned talk." She was like, no, thank you, because what I'm not about to do is sit around with you and talk about the things we don't have and people and I don't know, be negative. She said, no, I don't want to have those old fashioned talks. But if you want to have a talk about, love and life and moving forward and positive things, she was like, I'll be more than happy to stop by. But the old fashioned talks, there, she said, they're too expensive, which I thought was hilarious, but it's so true. I find myself noticing the things I say and I correct them. And more so than that, I notice the things people say around me. So when people are being negative and talking bad on themselves, I notice myself catching it even more so, because I've gotten to the point where I'm so kind to myself when I'm not. It's just very apparent. Like, it just comes through like a loudspeaker. Um, which I thought was so funny. I remember even hearing in one of Drake's songs, he says that negative thoughts don't even enter my inner matrix. They don't even enter into my consciousness. That's how we need to be to get to where we want to be. Not even allowing bad vibes, bad thoughts to even come into your consciousness. Isn't that crazy? That means you operate so far away from negativity and bad mouthing and bad talking that it doesn't even come into your thought process. She also talks about spiritual laws and how we're governed by spiritual laws, whether we want to or agree with it or believe in it or not. It happens. But in just like the physical laws, if you think about gravity, whether you believe in gravity or not, it's there. Same thing. It's like the law of attraction, all of those things. That's pretty much what she was trying to explain. And even though you don't see that you're being pulled down to the ground and gravity is holding you in, you are. So that's the same thing. Even though you don't see that the things that you're saying and the things that you're thinking is affecting your reality, it is. It's going to, and it's shaping your life. And the myth that you can't control your thoughts, I think that's something that in general we need to, I don't know, take that out of our vocabulary. And to be honest, I didn't even realize that was even a thing until recently. I was watching a podcast and the guy was like, some people think that you can't control your thoughts. You can. You can control your thoughts. Now, it does take time and it takes work, but it can be done. One of my favorite quotes that she says, man can only receive what he sees himself receiving. And when you look at it in that way, that means anything you want, as long as you can see yourself doing it. And honestly, even if you thought about it, that's seeing yourself doing it. So that's the first step. If you've thought about having this perfect life or traveling or working for yourself or having a business or whatever that may be, if you've seen yourself do it, it can be done. You just have to be able to see it. So open up your mind, broaden your horizon to see even more things for yourself. So just let that sink in, like seeing yourself doing something, seeing yourself winning, thriving, being happy, having the things that you want, and always having the things that you want, always expecting great things to happen. Your word is your wand. She talks about spelling too. She says how that's why, and this was in another book as well. This was in the Four Agreements, which we're going to read. I think that's for month of February. But yeah, your word is your wand. And that's why it's called spelling, because we're casting spells. So if you think about it in that way, only speak good about others, because what you speak on others, you're speaking onto yourself. Only think good about others, because what you think about others, you're thinking about you are putting those vibes and energies and thoughts on yourself. And the things that we speak and say has so much power. It is crazy how much power the things that we say. And once you really realize it, you'll start to realize that you are creating whatever heaven or hell that you're living in. And it's just that simple. So shifting your words can ultimately shift your life, which is a really good concept from this book. Now, this isn't about like wishful thinking, hoping, oh, I hope this happens. She really breaks it down to take it to a whole nother level of putting yourself in these situations. It's nothing hocus pocus. There's nothing silly about it. It's aligning your words with your mind and your actions to get what you want, instead of just being in fear thinking that things aren't going to happen, or being in fear that you can't get everything that you want. Another thing that I've been saying and really trying to get in is that fear is the opposite of faith. So if you're fearful of something, that means you don't have faith, which means you don't believe that God is going to work it out. You don't believe God, universe, whoever you believe in, you don't believe that things are working for your good. And I feel like when we break it down in that way, it changes everything. Just to kind of recap everything, or at least the basis of the book. Your word is your bond. Make sure that you are paying attention to what you say. Man can only have what he sees himself having. So always have that concept that you're winning, that everything works out for you. Everything works out for the good of me. I deserve this. I had to get to the point where I was brought up in a Christian home. So for me, it's God. God is just like my dad. My dad wants the best for me. My dad would give me his last dollar, and if he had a dollar, if he could go in debt with the dollar, he'll give me that dollar too. So if my earthly dad does that, and whoever that is for you, if my earthly dad would do that for me, God, the universe, whatever, they want to do even more, because they have more to give. So if we believe that, it takes everything to a whole nother level. See yourself having it. See yourself being successful, and watch things happen. Watch your words. Shift your mindset and act as if. Remember, faith is the opposite of fear. So if you have fear and you're fearful that things aren't going to work out, you're not going to get the job, you're not going to find the person of your dreams, then you're living in fear. So cut that out. It's 2025. In closing, I hope you guys really enjoyed this. How are you playing the game? Are you playing with the rules to win? Or are you making this an impossible task for yourself? I think with the simple rules of this book, watching your words, watching what you speak, your words and your speak, having faith and controlling your thoughts, there's no way you can't win. All right, until next time, sunshines, I hope you enjoyed this video and enjoy the game of life and how to play it just as much as I did. If you want me to go into a little more in depth, to do like an actual book reading, I can like take some more detailed book readings. I can, but in the basis, that's what this book is about. She gives a lot of examples. See, it's pretty thin. It's a really quick read, but you won't waste a minute of time doing it. All right, until next time, sunshines, stay mindful. Get this book.